This is a call out to everyone in Australia. You don't have to like me. You don't really have to agree with me. Not with me. We don't have to. We can go along to get along in the sense that we can go along to get along for the greater good for each other. We can agree to disagree, and we should fight for each other to have an opinion even if we don't agree with each other. I think we can agree with that. I agree that you're entitled to an opinion. Just as much you should agree that I'm entitled with one, even if we don't agree with each other. That's how we have rational conversation. That's how we come to solutions. Now that said, I think something we can all agree on, crime is fucking ridiculous and out of control. And as somebody who's been down a few paths in my life, not only are drugs bad, the drugs in Australia at the moment are filthy. It's been quite like it for quite a long time. They're filthy, they're dirty, they're poisonous, and they've been cut with all kinds of strange fillers. That's why people are going, right? The ice isn't exactly ice. Let's just put it that way. I can tell you that for a fact. Most of the drugs getting around aren't what you think they are. Fentanyl is in Australia. Yes, fentanyl. They are putting fentanyl in shit ice to make it more addictive. That's a fact. Which has a counter effect to what ice has. So they never really get that high. But the addiction it's embedded. It's got its hooks in. And that's why it's always the constant need to get more, need to get more, need to get more, because they're not really getting the high that they're chasing because the fentanyl counteracts the ice. You got an upper and a downer together. Okay, I've just explained something to you that you probably wasn't aware of from an experienced point of view. I don't care what, like I said, I don't care what you think of me. What you think of me is none of my business. Okay? You don't have to live, I don't allow people to live rent-free in my head. What you think of me is not my business because they're your thoughts. So what I think of you, it's none of your business. Why? I don't think of you. I don't think of you in that light or in that manner. I think of you in the sense that you have just as many rights as I think I have. As I know I have. You are entitled to your thoughts. You are entitled to a free life, a clean life. You are entitled to raise your children and live the way you should be able to live, freely, unmolested, uninterrupted, unhindered, in peace, with a right to earn a living, a fair living, with the right to be able to support your family in a loving home, with mum and dad both present, where the children come home from school to at least a mother or a father. I would say preferably a mother. Okay, you can call me a patriarch if you like. Yes, I have some old school Christian values. And that is what has served me well throughout my life. And my Christian values are getting stronger and stronger all the time. Okay? What I am doing is not for me. I'm standing on the hill, not my hill. And what I'm doing is not even me. Okay? This is all Christ. I am just the meat wagon. Point me at it and see what I can do. For the greater good. We can all agree. The drugs are bad. They're not just bad. They're fucking filthy dirty. Crime's through the roof. Revolving door of courts is no good, and it's not all on the magistrates. Okay. If you go back a few videos, I explain how that works. How do I know? I just think I told you how I know. Information from someone who's been there, okay? It's not an assumption. It's not something I heard from somewhere else. I've lived it. Lived experience. A government's obviously belligerent, running the place like a bunch of drunken pirates. a lot of other people from a different platform on a different road will attest to the fact that our government is running as a foreign entity from a foreign territory in a nation of states. Also, the Northern Territory is a foreign territory with the Chinese shipping docks and a foreign military who does not necessarily have our best interests at heart, who keeps dragging us into their proxy wars for the sake of resources in the name of democracy, who have a military base here in the Northern Territory that Australian military is not allowed into past the second level down. That's got to stop. Foreign embassies need to be closed down. All foreign representatives need to go home with love, with peace. We just want to sort our country out. No diplomatic immunity for any shipping containers coming in and out of this country for 6 months. Let the military run the country under martial law with military tribunals of constabulary, judiciary, any secret lodges from Freemasonry to Rotary to Lions, education systems on the grounds of child sex porn, councils for any corruption to do with land exchange or financial misappropriation of funds, all state parliaments, all politicians, lawyers, barristers, prosecutors, all and anybody else who has any questionable carbon or digital footprint that has any evidence that would do us harm to our sovereign borders militarily, economically or socially. Anyone with any connections to any ideology that is not concurrent and compatible with our Christian secular society to go back to where they came from. Anybody with dual citizenship to go back to where they came from while we sort this country out. We hold a constitutional convention so that then we have a constitution that can never be usurped or subverted in an act of treason or fraud again. And put the Commonwealth of Australia, which is we the people, the wealth and the general goods of this country, that's us, back on top of supreme sovereign law and authority. The Constitution under us that we must protect as our absolute law and above the government, to keep the government in check and to enact to ensure that they serve the country honourably and to earn that honour in be able to serve. Time limits on service and recall elections. So if somebody's not doing as they promised or we're not happy with their performance, we can ask via a local petition, by a local petition registered with a representative, a village representative, a council representative of sorts that we install, to have that person replaced and they cannot run again. We must have accountability for those who will not give blind, fair and just consequences for any circumstances in that position in any court in the judiciary system. Those who are victims that need help should be treated as victims that need help instead of criminals, and those who are criminals should not be treated as victims who need help. They are criminals. I think we can all agree with that. And I think we can all agree that I have every single bit of lived life experience to be able to commentate on that, to be able to have opinion on that, to have a fair and honest opinion on those grounds. Been there, done that. I'm not talking through my arse. We must dissolve this parliament. Governor General, there is constitutional grounds to do so, and you must do it. This is not a request. The people have had enough.